In the final video of HTML Basics, where you learn all the basic HTML tags, we're going to talk about the header element and the nav element, okay? Header is something we haven't talked about before. And what I've done to illustrate these things is I've taken the page we've been working with all along, and I've added two new sections to the page. Actually, three sections. At the top, I have added a site title. So let's imagine that my article about Vespas is part of a larger website about people who love two-wheel travel or motorcycles or scooters and so forth. And the second element that I've added to the page is the navigation, right? So right now it looks like a weird little list, but we're going to change that soon. And so this entire area that you see here, the heading, the name of the site logo, that will be part of the header, and the nav also will be enclosed in the header. The navigation links will also be enclosed in the nav element. And then one last thing, I added an additional footer. So if you watched HTML Basics 5, you understand that this light blue box is a footer for the article, but I'm also going to add now a footer for the page itself, for the whole page. So what is this stuff going to look like in actual HTML? So right now, it's just an H1 for the name of the site, and it's an unordered list with links. So A tags are embedded, nested, right? A tags are nested inside the LI tags. So that's generally how we make navigation for any kind of site. And then the rest of it is stuff you saw in video 5, in HTML Basics 5. You saw our aside, you saw that footer. And then at the bottom, I'm going to style this as a footer also. The tag is going to be the same as this tag, but you'll see that we have different styles. Now, the same as in HTML Basics 5, I've got an external style sheet linked to this page. And it's the same one as before with some extra stuff. So what I've added is some CSS styles for the header that we haven't added yet, and several CSS styles for the nav element that we haven't added yet. All right, so let's go ahead and add those now. All right, so first we will wrap all of this in a header. Right, and the nav also. So I'm going to close the header tag below the navigation links. All right, so save, reload, and I know the navigation list doesn't look so good, but this is the style that I've put on the header. So this whole dark blue area is the header, okay? Now, what about the nav? Because I've already styled the nav, right? Nav styles are already here. So I'm going to add the nav element, which wraps around the navigation links. Closing tag /nav nav, right? So my header encloses everything, but my nav encloses only my navigation links. And I will save, and I will reload, and a little CSS style makes that happen, right? So now these look like some kind of links. So one important thing to keep in mind is that the header is by no means a substitution for an H1 heading or the other H's, right? So a header, it usually contains an H or more than one H, but it is not the same, and you can't use it instead. It's its own separate element. And likewise, the head is outside the body. The head comes at the top of the document. The head is a particular document structure element, so don't get these confused, okay? Do not confuse head, header, your H's, and last time in HTML Basics 5, we also learned about the H group. These are all different, so keep them straight in your mind. All right, so one last thing we want to add on here, and that is we want to style this other footer. We learned about footers already, but I want to demonstrate that we can have two different footers on a page, and you might sometimes need that. So we've got a footer up here that's part of the article, and it's inside the article, right? It comes before the closing article tag, but now outside the article, we have a new footer that contains a paragraph, and we will save, and we will reload, and we'll see what this looks like. Very different styling, right? So we've got one footer here that has small type and it's inside the article, and another one that is large. So that's it. That's the end of your basic HTML elements. You now know everything you need to use HTML correctly. And don't forget that when you need to look something up, you should go to the WhatWig site and look at the elements of HTML here, because you can look up the correct use of any element there is, and this document is constantly updated.